Not be afraid. Put it into the world. It's not enough that you talk about it. You have to actually put it in practice. And here comes the secret: the people who deserve it. You know what your passion is and you know what you're good at. And then you decide to share it with the world, and you're sharing it with the people who are not understanding it. You're sharing it with the people who are not on the same path that you are on. Then what happens next is you start to lose it for yourself, and you start to wonder, do I have it? Do I still have it in me? It is so much easier to question yourself than to believe in yourself. Another thing that I just noticed, and I see a lot of people do this on set, is that when they are on stage or on set, if a chair needs to be moved to another place, never drag it. The dragging of it shows you that you are not a professional actor, because that will take the audience, that will take the people watching you on the screen out of what the scene and what the circumstance is about. So you pick it up and you move it, and then you place it like that. So the sound is not consistent. The sound doesn't stay, and it doesn't annoy the people listening to you and watching you. Ooh, I'm so excited. Having come from my directing actors class with students at School of Visual Arts who are not actors. Just remember this: they're not actors, they're directors, they're editors, they're everything else that has to do with filmmaking, but not the acting. And they're taking this class, which is called Directing Actors, where they have to put themselves in the shoes of the actors to understand the process, to understand what the actors go through in practice, not talked about, to be able to then share the same process by putting themselves in the space with the actors that they plan to work on, and do the work on their feet, not just talking about it. Talking is so easy. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody can talk. We all talk all the time. A couple of days ago, and I was a little bit down and I was feeling depressed, as I'm sure most of us are feeling due to this pandemic and to the changes, the extreme changes in our lives that have made us to adjust to this new norm, I guess you want to call it. And even psychologists are talking about how much impact, much more than we can even understand at this point in our lives, this pandemic is having on each of us. Being isolated for the first year, obsessed and afraid of dying, is not something that anybody was expecting that we would have to go through beginning 2 years ago. I mean, yes, we're all mortals and we all know that at some point we are going to die, but we're not really facing that in our everyday going about life. Maybe we should, because then we would appreciate the moments we are living much more if we were to acknowledge death. But we don't do that. We go on with different things that we have to do. We have to achieve stuff. We have to try to thrive in our careers, in our personal relationships, in our personal lives. And having this last 2 years kind of come at us out of nowhere and giving us this awakening, giving us this punch in the gut, is something that we have to adjust to, and it's not easy to adjust to it. So I've been feeling depressed, to be honest. I've been feeling that my work and what I do, if only shared with more people, would be of benefit. And I know that. I know that the teaching that I do, that I have learned, and I am continuing to learn as a member of the Actor Studio, having been presented and having had the privilege to be able to share it on smaller stages with smaller groups of people in different countries of the world, and have it be received with responses such as, my God, why did we not know of this work? My God, this is making us feel so much more powerful. My God, we are such great human beings. The work has made us be aware of that. Self-reflection is not a selfish thing. Self-reflection is the way to go into the first phase of realizing what else is there that you need to work on to better yourself as a human being, so you can be better for the other human beings in your personal life, in your career. I've always known how important this work is, but like I said, the pandemic and the isolation that we were all obligated under has made me stop believing, has made me doubt it. I've been trying to share this work with people that, as of yesterday, I realized were requiring for me to confirm who I am and to confirm that which is what I believe of the power of this work. I'm not saying there's something wrong with the people who don't understand it. It's not their fault. It is my fault that I have doubted myself and stayed in this relationship with these people, in trying to over and over and over and over again repeat myself and demonstrate to them every chance I had, clarifying the power that the acting methods have that go beyond just helping actors to portray humane, complex characters. Realizing the other day, this work is being done, even though I knew that the work was being done with so many acting coaches in different parts of the world, with different actors from the most successful to not successful career-wise. I knew that, but I have just realized that it is even more so being done than I could even imagine. And those people who are teaching it, who are acting coaches, mentors, whatever they want to call themselves, are speaking about it in their different groups of people that they're working with, about the power of it that I always knew it has, that goes beyond just acting. It is so powerful that it can change the world, someone said. And it was someone who said it, who has so much experience and so much proof that that is the case. And it brought me back to life. coming across something extraordinary yesterday made me realize that what I am trying to do in proving myself over and over and over again to those people who are never going to get it is wasting my energy, wasting my time, wasting my belief, which is my passion, which is my life, my creative life, my personal life. Because in the back of my head, I am still the little girl that was shy. I am still the little girl that was afraid to speak her mind, because we were brought up to be polite, and we were brought up to not speak so much, and we were brought up to be in our place and not create any kind of chaos. That little girl, that little boy is inside of us all at all times. And that creative part of us, if neglected, like I neglected my creative little girl inside of me, by allowing the adult self to ask for understanding of people who will never understand that work. I've been trying to promote it. I've been trying to share it with the wrong people. Do you know how much I could have done positively to actually accomplish the goal that I have with people who I should have chosen, knowing that they would be able to be open to what I have to say, even if they don't understand it because they're not in the same business, let's say, or because they haven't been practitioners of the method. But at least they would have been open to say, you might have something here. You might just have something here, rather than cut me down, cut me off, and taking it into a completely different direction than the direction that I know and I see it has to go into. What an amazing realization. What an amazing realization that we continue to work on our ownership of the power and the strength and the greatness that we have. It's an ongoing process. And I keep saying this to my students, it's an ongoing process. The potential, the reaching one's potential is an ongoing process. You can never give up on learning, on practicing, on rehearsal, on getting up on your feet and on moving in a way that it might not seem polite to the people who have never seen it before. But if you do that, if you allow your body to move in ways that you don't usually move, which had become habits and constrict you from expression, from creativity, then you would not find out the many layers that we all have, because we're all given those as people coming into this world. And this goes for everybody. It's not for actors only. It's not for directors only. It's not for writers. This goes for everybody. This work is beyond the limited vocabulary that I have to be able to describe the importance of it in the world, especially nowadays. What are you measuring success in? You're measuring your success, Mihaela, due to the actors that you're working with, and if they got a job. You're measuring your success depending on those people who don't understand this work to approve it, over and over and over, trying to convince people who will never get it. Imagine a wave that's coming. I'm imagining myself in the Mediterranean, which I so miss. Oh, when you're lying on your back on that silky water, and you know there are no sharks underneath, and you're just lying there in the beautiful light, the most beautiful light Greece has, it is known, and you're looking up at the sky, and your ears are in the water and you're on your back and you're feeling one with the universe. You're feeling the worthiness that you are put on this earth with. You're feeling it. You don't need to explain to somebody that you have it. You don't need to convince somebody that you've got it. You don't need to confirm. Even though I am getting a lot of confirmation from so many people and from so many jobs that they're getting, and from the response from the people who are seeing them do the work. And still, in the back of my head, there's the little voice that comes up, because it's so much easier for that voice to be audible and to be stronger than the positive one, because the brain requires less work to go to the negative thoughts. It requires more work to go to the positive. So the training to go to the positive in your brain is constant. It needs to be done all the time. So when we are being lazy, when I'm being lazy and I'm like, why am I not doing what I'm supposed to be doing by this time in my life? Why can't I get across to these people this point of view, which is so groundbreaking, which is so significant, which is so helpful to everybody? Why? And instead of why, continue to believe and put ourselves in the company of those people who are open-minded and who can understand that maybe what you know, they don't know, the same way that I understand that what they know, I don't. I never talk about the way that the lighting should be set on a film set. I never talk about the angles of the camera. I never talk about the sound, because I do not know those things. I did not learn those things. I did not practice those things. Other people are experts in that. But what I do know is acting. What I do know is teaching acting. And I know it from the many failures that I have had more than successes. I know it from putting myself on that stage of the actor studio and falling on my face for the last 20 years, but then getting up and going back again. I know it from being on my feet, putting myself out there, even when I did the worst acting work that anybody could have seen, and I was smashed down and I was talked down. But then I had a choice after I came home, and I cried and I cried and I cried, feeling like a failure. I had a choice to never go back, or to get up on my feet and to go back and take that as being part of the lesson that I have to learn to get better and to consistently become better and better and better, because that's what method teaches. So when somebody comes to me and they are asking me to reevaluate that which I know to work, because I have myself done it, but I have allowed them to diminish that which I know works, and therefore diminish my belief in my passion, which take my power back and to say I have ownership of this work, because I have shared it and I have taught it and I have done it for the last 20 years. And I just feel so liberated. I just feel like I'm not going to try to change people who don't believe that directors should be taking acting classes. I'm not going to change people who don't understand why writers in writing characters would benefit from taking at least one acting class. I'm not going to change those minds. The ones who say they don't believe in it and they stop there. They know for sure what they know. So why am I trying so hard to convince them? That's the question. Why do I need so hard to convince them? Because of that little girl that I go back to again. Because of that little girl, that insecure little shy girl from so many years ago, who is still inside me, who is still shy. But you know what? If she weren't that shy little girl, I wouldn't be the adult that I am today. I wouldn't be able to speak the way that I speak in a language that's between two languages. between Romanian and English, the language of creativity. I might not have the vocabulary, articulations. I might not have the grammar of somebody who was living in Romania all the time. I might not have the accent and the articulation of somebody who was born in the United States of America, but I accept that. I know that. I'm not trying to convince somebody of how well I speak Romanian or how well I speak English. I am convincing someone of something that I am doing and I have been doing for the longest time, that I have experienced it. The act of experiencing is the craft of acting. Everything that we do in this life, in any profession, tell me one profession that doesn't require for a human being to experience. Tell me one profession. They're doing shows on television, they're having reality shows, redecorating houses, they're redoing interior designing, those experts in redecorating, and they speak about when you take such a project as redoing a house, you have to think of how the owners of the house, when they come back, are going to experience that which is what you changed about their house. How are they going to experience that? They have to have experience in their new home to feel a certain way. Acting is that all the time, and it has been doing it for thousands of years, going back to the ancient Greeks. It's the one profession that deals with, focuses on, shines the light on human experiences, soulful human experiences that when lived on stage or in front of the camera, the people watching can also, without knowing what work goes into that, but because they are lived, they are experienced by the actors, they will also experience them without having to understand minute to minute, detail to detail, what has been going on behind the closed doors, backstage, behind the curtain, in the preparation for the actors to be able to come and achieve those experiences that are so intimate, and yet they have to reveal them in public. That's what it is. So what profession in the world doesn't need a little bit of reflection, of a light to be on that, on them? Yeah, I've wasted 2 years trying to convince myself again, as if it's not enough that I've done it for half of my life. If I'm lucky, it's even more than half of my life. Holy crap. They say you become wiser with age, and they say that you stop to care as much about trying to please other people and trying to demonstrate to others that that's something that you know will change the world in a small way, will happen. And I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. And I just had one of those, wake up, Mihaela. Wake up and stop it. Stop wasting the energy that you have. All this energy that I have that sounds like I'm angry. Some people think, oh, you're so angry. Oh, you're so this. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm big. I live big because I wasn't able to live big as a little girl. So I live big now. Let me do that. You go and live small if that's what you want. I'm talking to myself because I'm telling myself to take into consideration things that are coming to me from people who are open to teaching me that which I don't know, but not to the ones that are coming to me and they're stomping on the things that I do know. Incredible. I don't even know what I'm trying to make the subject of this episode, but I think it is about taking ownership of who you are and what you know, still remaining open to others is a lesson that I have to learn for myself over and over again. Somebody said something that was so smart. It is one thing to reveal vulnerabilities and intimacy emotionally with people. But the most important thing is that you have to be very careful to selecting the people who are worthy of you revealing those intimate emotional dimensions of who you are. You have to be selective. I don't think that I knew how to set boundaries when it comes to the people that I associate myself with. I don't think I knew how to do that. I don't know if I got it. So it's a lesson that I'm still learning. I'm getting red. I'm getting red because I'm living this up. Select the people you are revealing yourself, your work with. This work is so important. It requires of us to be personal with it. It requires of us to dig into the depth of our soul, to be able to bring up what is necessary for the artist, for the creators to put into the world. We can divide ourselves and our personal selves from it as to protect ourselves. So when sharing the work with someone who's not capable of receiving it is the same as sharing my most personal, my most deep secrets, and that person takes them. Let me see. Yes, I'll listen. Open up your soul. And then you do. And then they take it and they just throw it to the side and they say, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. How are you to say that you can do that when you don't even know because you haven't tried it once? Have you tried opening yourself up in public, which is what the work demands, and crying and sobbing or laughing or dancing in a way that in society it would be looked upon as, oh my God, is something wrong with this person? Have you tried it? I didn't even know that it was happening, to be honest, but I knew that there was something that was eating at me. And I was feeling so sad. I was feeling so small and so diminished, having put a lot of work in something that I'm working on right now. And I kept sharing this work. I kept sharing the work with the people who were pretending to be open to it. And they kept coming back and they were just slamming it, slamming it, slamming it, slamming it, slamming it, slamming it. And I kept taking it and I kept taking it. And I kept saying, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's not what it should be. Maybe it should be this way. Maybe we should go in this direction. I was starting to follow them, even though they have no understanding of it and no practice in it. This work requires for an environment to be provided, to be surrounded. We have to surround ourselves with such an environment of safety where if it's not done with people who are part of that safety space, then you don't do it. If revealed in its details, in its specificity, because it's that raw. But I believe what keeps it safe in revealing it, in sharing it, is the story, is the script, is the play, the safe environment that will keep you within the structure so you can let go, and just be you. All we want is to be ourselves. That's all we ever want. No matter what the profession it is that you're doing, doctor, cook, mechanic, engineer, teacher, actor, lawyer, politician. We all want to just be ourselves. And to get to that, the work that goes into it is enormous. It is profound. It is powerful. But when we do it, and most smart people do it in all of those professions that I just mentioned, most of those people who are smart do it with acting coaches all over the United States and all over the world. People who are smart enough to understand the power of it. They're doing it because they know the more they reach within themselves, the more they can strive for becoming who they are, the more they can put out into the world. And that's how I started the episode. Put your power, get in your power, find it, and then take it and put it into the world. But make sure that while you're doing it, you're surrounding yourself with the people who can envision power. I am so glad that I have this opportunity. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this opportunity with the podcast. As Lee Strasberg, said, it doesn't matter when you get up to talk to someone. It doesn't matter if you share the work or your passion with someone, that you have in the audience that's going to be a small audience or is going to be the biggest audience. You still have to give it all. You have to give it all. But in order to give it all, you have to find who you are all. Because if you don't, then where to give all from if you yourself don't even know what that is? I am so excited that I got to do this. And no, I'm not yelling. Thank you, everybody. Hey, Stella podcast with Mihaela. Mwah, mwah, mwah.